Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? Stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion. Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die.
Here we are once again.
Praise
Hey,
to
yes, we are.
Allah. Living in the skin that we're in, and we're thankful to Allah. I want to
Yeah.
first start off in the most holy name of Allah, bearing witness that there's no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. I would like to greet you all in the greeting words of peace in the beautiful native tongue of our ancestors, in the greeting words of peace in the Arabic language of Islam alaikum.
Alaikum salam, ma'am.
I want to welcome you all to a beautiful, um, I call this the cracking of the atoms in the podcast ramification. We're going to be, there you go. Listen, I'm trying to get deep like you, Brother Tony. You know, so so we're,
I didn't know,
you know
that was that deep.
you're deep, brother. You're deep. So with that being said, this is going to be our series of
Meet the Podcasters.
Meet the Podcasters. And I just
Right
wanted
on.
to kind of touch in regards to what that looks like. So what we're going to do is actually interviewing other podcasters who's actually been sharing love, awareness, information in regards to also saving lives. What? Seventh Reading Coalition is not the only one saving lives. Yes, we have other people around the world helping do that same token of what God wants all of us to do, and that's help save lives. So, and when I speak of all around the world, I'm not literally all around the world. So, without further ado, I want to introduce my co host to the show. I have my dear brother that's on, technically, he's on my right, but he's technically
I'm right
on my
next
left.
to you. That simplifies
Yeah,
it.
right here.
I'm right here.
Look, my right and my left hand sometimes. My dear brother, brother Tony, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, man.
And my brother, which he already know what this means. My dear brother, like no other.
No, not like this is the Kalila. You both
Not
will
like
get
look,
them out.
like this, like look, I'm the little sister,
not like,
right? Look, I'm the little sister, so I be feeling like, but he listen. That's my brother from another mother, for real, for real. My dear brother,
Absolutely.
brother Mark. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, ma'am.
So we're gonna get right into it, Brother Tony, because I think that what we're going to try to do is going to be ethic, because we want to be able to share the same platform with the platform makers, the platform shakers, the platform producers,
The ones who are doing things. Big things.
Big things. So I am going to turn it over to you, Brother.
It's an honor and a pleasure, Sister Kalila, to be on this august body of believers
deep
here on this podcast. Let me begin properly, Sister Kalila. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God, to whom holy praises, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, I am forever thankful to Almighty God, Allah, for his divine and prophetic intervention in our affairs in raising the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I thank them both for the Honorable Minister Luz Farrakhan. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Abaragani. Buenas noches. Sak pase. Free the land. And every greeting that our people greet each other in. Welcome to Thursday Night Talks, which is headed up by the 7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives. The 7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives was assembled by our Student Regional Minister, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad, in the midst of the pandemic, soon after the criterion message of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. As a result of that message, we were put together to warn our people of a dangerous and experimental inoculation passed off as vaccines, but they're not real vaccines. We were put together to help save lives and to guide us to the truth and how we should be moving in this hour. It is no different right now. We're still warning our people, and we're still guiding our people to truth, righteousness, guiding our people to a pathway that does, in fact, and indeed save lives. So with that, tonight, we're going to be focused on 2 ministries of the 9 ministries given to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the midst of the Millions More movement in 2005. We're going to begin with the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education is responsible for the mental and moral development of the members of the society by making formal instruction in a prescribed manner over a prescribed period of time in a system of learning ranging from preschool through primary through advanced academic levels, culminating in the conferring of academic degrees under the direction of a National Board of Education. In addition to academic instruction, students shall receive teaching and training in the way of righteous conduct, decency, and self-respect, with the goal of making a better nation of people. And we're also focused tonight on the Ministry of Information, as here we are partaking in the dissemination. The Ministry of Information is the central agency which provides services that include the development of all sources for informing the public of the policies, plans, and strategies necessary for the free flow and accessibility of information essential to an informed and empowered citizenry. This includes collection, research, and dissemination of current events, history, analysis, the publication of books, pamphlets, magazines, in use of the internet and social media. It is also responsible for the development of information systems and networks to secure internal and external communications, media program development and management, and establishment of an Office of Media Affairs and Press Secretary. And so that is the two ministries we're going to be focusing on tonight. Sister Kalila and Brother Mark. Brother Mark, I pass it over to you, my brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Tony. Well, let's talk about tonight's guest. Sister Bridget X, also known as Sister Fatima, is a registered member of the Nation of Islam since 2014 in Jamaica, West Indies. She is an entrepreneur, the owner of Fatima's home-based nail salon. She has been married to Brother Lloyd X for 10 years and has one child. She is passionate and focused especially about the Nation of Islam. She has a plethora of experiences and accomplishments in the following. She was a part of the 2019 Children's Treat fundraising event to help offset the refurbishment of Brayton Basic School in her community. Also, she was Jamaica Student Protocol Director of the Nation of Islam from September 2021.
Protocol.
Yeah,
that's your team.
That's right.
Sister Khalil know about that. From September 2021 to January 2023. Also, she's editor of 2 articles in Rise Magazine. The front cover, Let Us Unite and Serve Ourselves, Protocol Director in Jamaica. And then the front cover featuring the swan song, It's Still Being Sung, entitled The Beauty of Islam in Jamaica. She was a special guest on Rise Magazine podcast to further discuss her article, Protocol Director in Jamaica. She's a part of the Nation of Islam Jamaica publication team from September 2022 to the present. And she managed the X Twitter account at Nations Own JA. And she is Director of Communication for the Caribbean from February 2023 to the present. And she is also the administrator of the 10,000 Fearless Jamaica Soup Kitchen. Let us bring on our wonderful, beautiful guest, Sister Bridget X. Bring her on.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you so much for having me. In the name of Allah.
Sister Bridget, I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you go with your introduction because we got
yes, ma'am. Thank you. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. And let me not forget our beloved minister for Jamaica West Indies, student minister Clive Muhammad, sends his love and greetings of Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Please return the greetings, brother. And on behalf of our student regional minister, because we do not represent ourselves.
No, yes. Not far. So, Sister Bridget, you got a lot of accomplishments, and I guarantee you that's just lightweight on paper. I know you have been doing a lot of things, and we're going to get right into it because I know that, Jamaica is a beautiful city.
Yes, ma'am.
Island.
But I know the mental capacity that you have to kind of carve through in order for you to identify who Master Farad really is and why the minister loves Jamaica and the West Indies. Because the minister already said when Jamaica rise, he said, first of all, he said the South, but South, Jamaica. Yeah. We taking
Jamaica
over.
Is South.
Yeah, I'm talking about, but that's South. That's like, South Water South, right? So with that being said, let's talk. Because I am definitely interested in how who came up with the name Rise for the magazine first, but now the podcast. And what is the significant? What does the name mean? What the significance of Rise?
Yes, ma'am. So first thing, Rise Magazine was before my time.
Mhm.
I just started with them in 2022. I actually knew Sister Aziza in 2021 over the phone, and then we start communicating, and that is how I got involved in it. But initially, the whole idea is from student regional Abdul Sharif Muhammad, and the rise is really us as a people,
Mm.
who we are and what we need to do to get the message out. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, praises be to Allah. So when you indicate that rise is basically a pretty much a figure of speech,
Yes, ma'am.
we
Yes,
must
ma'am.
rise. So praise be to Allah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
must all rise to the occasion, Sister Kalila.
Yes,
And
sir.
so
Yes,
it leads me
ma'am.
to our
Yes,
next
sir.
question, talking about the rise of our people everywhere, including the Caribbean. Sister
Yes,
Bridget,
sir.
I'm going to reference a surah, an ayat from the Holy Quran. Surah, for those of you that may not know Arabic, it means chapter, and ayat means verse. So in the 20th chapter, and from the 25th to the 32nd verse, in the this is in the Holy Quran, it reads, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. He, meaning Allah, he said, my Lord, Moses, excuse me. He here is talking about Moses. He said, my Lord, expand my breast for me with knowledge and ease my task for me and loosen the knot from my tongue, that they may understand my word, and give to me a helper from my family, Aaron, my brother. Add to my strength by him and make him share my task.
Mm.
My question to you, dear Sister Bridget, how do you see the scripture as it relates to both the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and the work that he, talking about the minister, that he and his followers need to undertake to expand the outreach of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the Caribbean?
Yes, sir. Thank you for that question. Well, as we know in the Nation of Islam, that help is always needed. And when Master Farad Muhammad came and found the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, that was the first help for us as a people. And when he saw him and heard what he said, heard what Master Farad Muhammad was saying, he could then identify that help came, that the help that he's been looking for all his life. And then in return, after learning for 3 years and 4 months of learning from God himself, then he knew that he needed a helper, because Allah would not be with him all the time. And he prayed for that helper, and that helper came a year after. And so basically, the work continues, the journey continues, and help is always needed for the resurrection of our people. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ma'am. Praise be to Allah. The fact that the minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, has roots in the Caribbean, his mother from St. Kitts, his father from Jamaica, that is a sign for us about how the expansion of the work and the expansion of the breast of Almighty God Allah is through the minister. In fact,
that's right.
What's in the breast is the heart. And I know that our beloved student, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, loves our people everywhere that they are found on the planet, dear sister. And so,
Praise be to Allah. May I share something with you?
please.
Absolutely.
While I'm in the Nation of Islam, and I found out that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's father is from downtown South Side. That's where my family is from. I'm a couple of streets away from him.
All right.
Yes, we're on Foster Lane. My family's on Foster Lane and Ayoban Street. So we're just a couple lanes from him. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even know that my origin was downtown South. I mean, I grew up there in my younger years, but I always thought that I was on the other side because we were somewhere else as well before. So I just thought my origin was there. And now I learned that my origin is right in that vicinity of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's father.
Well, there's no coincidence there. And here you are, active, doing.
Okay, you broke up a little bit.
Podcasting, your podcasting.
Excellent. Beautiful. Well, Sister Bridget, if I understand correctly in terms of chronology, the magazine Rise was first and then came the podcast. So my question is, can you elaborate on how the podcast evolved from the magazine?
Yes, sir. So that question is for your next guest, Editor-in-Chief, Sister Aziza Muhammad. She's the baseline of how it was birthed. Because when I came in to work, to help with the work, the foundation was already there.
Okay.
How were you recruited, if I may ask?
Yes, sir. So one of my cousins got married and he came to Jamaica for the marriage. And I was talking to him about Islam. And he was about to go back home in Georgia. So I wanted to find out who in Georgia that could assist him. So I got the number. I got Sister Aziza's number from our student minister here in Jamaica. And that is how the communication starts. And then she asked me to do an article about Jamaica twice. And then she asked for me to do the interview about one of the articles. And then that's when they asked me to help with the podcast. So God is the greatest.
Yes, he is.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that is amazing. So it seems like we already have, identified, how. So yeah, so I want you, let's go a little bit deeper. How did the podcast begin? What was that? What was that? That breakdown, because I mean, first of all, it's a beautiful transition, which is it's kind of like a, it's a reading mechanism, but it's also a visual mechanism, right? But how did the magazine give birth to the podcast?
Well, with the story that I've heard from Sister Aziza, the editor-in-chief, student minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad was dropping words, passing by, saying you have a magazine now, it's time for podcasts. And he would, each time he passed her, he would say this to her on a daily basis, just putting that idea in her head. And she's saying, I don't think so, that's too much. She keep saying that to herself. And till she and her sister decided, and they start recruiting persons from the southern region and other places across the world, and including myself, and that is all gave birth.
man. Praise be to Allah.
Awesome. Awesome.
And if you could elaborate a bit on what are your most memorable programs that you have so far.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Well, I can tell you that most of our episodes are memorable because it's one aim, one purpose.
Come on.
And we are structured like that. So it's always help, discipline, the alignment, and we move out to conquer. So for each person that comes on, that is what they give. But my latest interview was with you, Student Minister Tony, and our regional minister, Student Minister Patrick Mohammed.
Yes, yes.
I enjoyed, and I always enjoy the believers coming on to help, to teach, to guide what we have been taught in class.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well,
Praise
my
be to
question is, of all of the people that you featured on your broadcast, I'm curious, have any of them been, have any of the guests had roots in the Caribbean?
Yes, you just saw one. Student Minister Dennis from Guyana, Student Minister David from Trinidad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
An illustrious list.
No.
I've had quite a bit of interaction with both of them. I love my brothers. What was particularly refreshing, and what became so much of interest in their discussion when they were featured on Rise Magazine?
Well, Student Minister Dennis spoke about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's week that he invited me to last year, October. He was my patron. I sent you some of those pictures. There's a few of us in the picture. Trinidad and Guyana and Jamaica. We went there as a team. Some were protocols, junior minister, student minister. I was a protocol, and the FOI for Guyana. And we went into Linden. That's a town in Guyana where he's from. And we went to churches, schools, the police headquarters. Where else we went? And we had a women's meeting. So he spoke about that. We had about 5 days of work. And that was my birthday week. So I just thank Allah for that gift. So he found me working,
That's the best way to have your birthday anniversary.
Right.
Yes, yes, sir. So Student Minister spoke about that from Guyana, Student Minister Dennis, and excuse me, and also what he was doing to continue to highlight and educate his people in his community. And for Student Minister David, man, Student Minister David is like an encyclopedia.
It is. He is. He is. I can bear witness.
I bear witness to that.
He is loaded. And you just have to sit and listen because he has so much to say about what needs to get fixed and the structures that we need to take with the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, it's all about structure and the training and discipline. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says that the greater the discipline, the greater the success.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's right. Beautiful.
That is discipline that we need in this hour to survive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, as it relates to strategy, for your upcoming shows and your upcoming features, what is your strategy? Because this is a podcast series, right? So, so we have a lot of people that may be watching, right? And actually, thinking about going into podcasting, right? What, Sister Bridget, is your strategy as it relates to, coming up with the features, coming up with guests, identifying who that is, what questions to ask, and so forth. So, what is your strategy in regards to your shows?
So the number one strategy for us is to teach the uncivilized civilization.
All right.
And that's one of our main strategy. The knowledge, right? Who are savage, to teach the uncivilized people who are savage, civilization, righteousness, the knowledge of himself, the science of everything in life, which is love, peace, and happiness. And when we go about looking for our guests to come on the show, is to showcase business in a righteous way, and how we go about teaching guidance, and what Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says about bottom line is for us not to get weary, because the deadline is with Allah, and we just want to show the world that righteousness works, honesty works. What's the other word?
Integrity.
And we must die on our posts.
That's right.
Keep working, regardless even if the odds looks like it's covering us. It is not true. It's an illusion. God is working, and we just have to keep working and move out and conquer with what we have learned in our classes. Thank you.
That is our base, dear sister. All praise due to Allah.
Awesome. Praise be to Allah.
Sister Bridget, how has Rise magazine impacted the community from your understanding? From your experience, can you share some testimonials about, since you've been podcasting and involved in the Rise podcast, how it has been impacting people based on the response?
Yes, sir. So apart from our numbers on our YouTube channel, the growth of it, and I have a few platforms, social media platforms, that I post and I advertise. And as I say, persons, they are listening and they are watching. And we just have to keep going at it, because there is growth. It might not be 1 million, 10 million like the crazy world of podcasting, because what I've realized is that our people are so other than themselves, is that it's easy to like other than ourselves. It's easy to fall for that trash and get all the numbers up high, but it's nothing. It's nothing compared in the eyesight of God. So we just have to keep at it, keep doing what we're doing, and don't worry too much about not growing fast. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan been soldiering for how many years? 60 plus years.
That's right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's right.
And look at us today. We are a mighty nation and we are still growing. So growing fast. Let me say this. The race is not for the swift.
All right. Now.
Yes,
It's not for the swift. And it's not for the fast. Help me here to quote
those who can endure.
Those who can endure.
That's
right.
right.
So it's a journey to God. So, and we have to be ready to take on the journey.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to. I would like to ask an additional question if I could to follow up. Just a follow-up question, Sister Bridget. You are obviously a very committed and dedicated sister, and all that you do. My question that came up in my mind was, what drives or motivates you to do what you do and to do what you have done? What gives you the energy to do all of these things, and what keeps you going? What motivates you? What drives you? What fuels you?
Yes, sir. So let me say this first. Master Farad Muhammad gave the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad 104 books.
Yes, ma'am.
And he told him that he only needs to walk with one.
Right.
And that is the Holy Quran.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is where I get all my energy from, because I read that book every morning as long as I'm able to. I read that book. And that book helps to give me the drive, along with listening to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's lecture. I feed on those. I drink those like water. So I'm always energized. And the moment I stop, the moment I take a break, I feel like I'm malnourished. So I keep drinking, keep reading, and that is what keeps me going.
Oh, yes. Wonderful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Excellent. And I have another question as well, dear sister. And this is to you personally. What audiences are you trying to reach? And what is your overall goal?
Well, the audience I would like to reach mainly is the one that are in the lowest of the dirt. Yes, sir, because that's where I'm coming from. And I know the dirt. So that is where mainly I would like to reach our people. One of our guests, student minister, I can't remember if it's James, but he's in a wheelchair from the southern part of the island. And when we asked him, he was talking about opening a 10,000 Fearless in his community. And he says he wants to be in the worst part. And he says it with a slang, He wants the 10,000 Fearless to be in the worst part of the city, just right there. And, our people we are so other than ourselves. It hurts. It hurts me. So as long as I have breath, I will continue to work by the permission of Allah.
Sister Bridget, what city is that? Is that Kingston?
Portmore, Jamaica.
How many study groups do you have there in Jamaica?
One?
Right there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought you were you're located in Kingston.
No, sir.
No. Okay. That's my bad.
Okay. So I didn't realize my headline was still there, because that was for Rise Magazine.
Yeah. No,
It's
all good. You're representing Rise Magazine, dear sister.
Yes, sir.
From the audience, or a question from the audience. Let me see. We have Sister Farah in Jacksonville.
Yes.
She asked the question: have you ever interviewed our national MGT sister, MGT captain, Sister Naima.
Okay, so is that for Sister Kalila?
No, ain't for
That's
me.
for you.
No, that's for you, Sister Bridget.
That's for you.
No, no, ma'am. But definitely, she's in our list line of interviewing. We would love to interview her.
Ah,
That's our national MGT
That's
captain.
right.
Who
That's
has
right.
roots in the Caribbean. She's from Haiti.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Oh,
awesome.
absolutely.
All
A
praise to God.
wonderful, wonderful sister
Wow.
indeed. Oh my God. God's
Yes,
gift to the Nation of
wonderful.
Islam.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She is a blessing.
Yes, she is.
I don't want her to go without us identifying how people can tune in to her podcast.
When does the podcast air, Sister Bridget? You're
Most
on
of
mute,
all,
beloved.
need to hear you.
Sorry. So it's on Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. and that's Eastern time. YouTube, Rise Magazine podcast, and Facebook, Rise Magazine.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise
And
be
I
to Allah.
also added her social media handles at the very bottom. So if
Thank
you
you,
want to get in
ma'am.
contact with her personally, you'll be able to do that as well. And like I said, it's such a joy to have you on the podcast, on this particular podcast.
Esteemed honor.
And keep in mind, Sister Bridget is not only doing her thing, but she helps us do our thing. So she,
Absolutely.
Wow.
anytime you see Sister Fatima in the in our thing, say, "Go ahead, that's right, talk about it. Let's talk."
Always,
Praise be to Allah.
always there to cheer us on.
Always giving
Yes.
us praises. Always
Beautiful.
giving
Thank you.
Allah
Praise
praise.
be to Allah.
Always just a very beautiful stand-up sister soldier for Muhammad, this sister. And and it's been an honor and a pleasure to actually meet you, to share the same spirit, to share the same experience, right? Because it's such an experience, you know. And the thing is, it's not hard work when you love the work.
Exactly. You just never get tired.
You just never.
No,
It's just
No.
it's not work.
Tired is a mindset.
It is. Tired is something that you
Excited is a
don't want to do.
mindset.
Right. It's something that you don't want to do when you get tired of something.
Come on. We can't entertain tired.
That's right.
Tired of what?
Right.
You know, Fannie Lou Hamer said, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired."
That's right. That's right.
So now we got to change our mindset and become active in the work that breeds life, because it breeds life in us. That is the real work that breeds life. Not we're engaged in things that we don't truly see ourselves in. It's unfulfilling. We're just doing it just because we need to do it for a salary, let's say.
Right.
We already know it's not the way that we personally would go about doing things. No, that's draining.
That's very draining.
No, this work, there is joy in this work. I'm tired during the day in dealing with circumstances that I don't want to deal with. But then when I come to study group and I'm among the believers, and especially when we have first-time guests,
yes,
who've never heard of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Look, I'm fired up. All day I've been like this.
Yes, sir.
And all of a sudden,
Definitely.
I'm like this, full of energy. I'm full of energy right now on this podcast right now. And Sister Fatima, Sister Bridget, we thank you so much for your service and your devotion.
Praise be to Allah.
To this work on multiple levels, dear sister.
Beautiful,
Praise
beautiful.
be to Allah.
And as you know, Sister Bridget, we always have a segment in regards to why we bring such beautiful spirits to the show, and we always bring up the fact that we have our knowledge corner. Our knowledge corner is always deemed around the fact of why we have what guests we have on, and the spirit of the guest. And of course, when you gain knowledge, you gain power. And with that being said, in our knowledge corner today, it's going to actually be actually the benefits of podcasting. And the benefits of podcasting allows listeners to time shift and place shift in media consumption. It's accessible to a global audience, regardless of the demographics and boundaries. Right now, we're talking to you from Jamaica. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
No figures. But it also draws more education, influence, right? It's an influence audience. And it gives you the ability to bypass news medias who's talking nonsense, things that you really don't want to hear, right? And it gives you the direct listener. We can conversate with the listener. We can actually have a conversation with the listener. Right now, we're interacting not only with you, but also with the listeners of who's listening to us. And that are some of the benefits of having a podcast.
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely. And with that being said, do you have any closing remarks for us?
Well, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, work harder with the truth.
Right now.
Work harder with the truth.
Work harder with the truth.
I mean, that we ain't working hard enough.
Sister Bridget, what comes to mind is that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us that an organized lie is more powerful than a disorganized truth. So in our organization of the truth, that is absolute priority. And through podcasting, we're able to deliver a clear message to our people, because our people are on social media nowadays. And if you're able to get somebody that's scrolling through, like, oh, what is this? Now you're able to get them to pause and to listen to something that they've never heard before.
That's right.
And so we are very blessed to be utilized as vessels to perform this work in this hour. So
definitely. May I say something?
Please.
Because social media is so wide, and we're still going the streets, right, in our community.
We have to.
The social media gives us a platform. Do you know that even the man on the street that lives nowhere has a phone and internet?
That's right.
And he is scrolling.
That's right.
That's right.
So that's an opportunity for him to tune in. Yes. Thank you.
Excellent point.
And with that being said, I hope the person that's on the phone also has a Cash App.
Yeah, they heard a Cash App.
Let us support your family, because platforms like these, it's a blessing and an honor to bring to you. It's always oriented towards saving lives. And if you could help out in this work by helping us do the work, because platforms like these are not our platforms. This is owned by somebody else.
That's right.
The streaming platform that we're using, that's owned by somebody else. We're just utilizing it to broadcast the message. What a blessing. But it does cost. Everything has a cost. So if you could donate whatever you can tonight with any kind of generous contribution to this Cash App, and any donation, any amount is a blessing. even if it's a few dollars, $5, $10, 20. If you want to make a large donation, we're not going to stop you. We're just going to utilize it to continue doing what we are doing here, to broadcast this message in helping our people imagine a greater version of themselves.
Yes, yes.
Through the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, through the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And we thank you so much for whatever you're able to give tonight to your family. Now, Sister Kalila, next week, do you have the flyer?
I do.
Next week.
Do you have that flyer?
I do. I do.
Oh, we can see
Please,
what's happening next week.
Look, we see now we're gonna start doing things this way. For next week, tune in from podcasting to Godcasting, helping others envision a greater version of themselves.
Wow.
We're going to be in a conversation with Sisters Angelica X and Sister Ebony X, and that'll be next week, November 14th, 2024. It's also on a Thursday. As all of our programs are Thursday, as these are Thursday night talks headed by the 7th Region Coalition to help save lives.
Nice, nice. The beat goes on.
The beat goes on. Keep in mind, this is our podcast series. Our podcast series will actually be starting today, and our first beautiful guest was our dear sister, Sister Bridget, aka BKA Sister Fatima, and she started this show off right. And I promise you, it's gonna take some hard, long, big shoes to fill what we just started off with, Sister Bridget. I don't know now, but it starts today and it ends on the 26th of December. So please stay tuned. Every Thursday, same station, same place, same time, and same frequency.
All right.
Brother Mark, what you say?
I say it looks like a great lineup. I'm excited and can't wait to meet all of the other podcasters. And I'm so grateful to Sister Bridget X for joining us this evening and really giving us what she does and the passion with which she does it. So it's been great.
All praise is due to Allah.
Thank you for having me. Praise be to Allah.
It was a high honor, dear sister. And so tune in next week, dear family. We in the famous words of Brother Lyle, we made him famous. We're saying it's famous because it came through this broadcast. We're not a clique, we're not a crew, we're not a gang. We're none of that. Who are we?
We are the 7th Region.
7th Region Coalition.
Help save lives. Tune in next week, dear family. May Allah, God continue to bless you all.